So since we did just manage to pick up the scientist perk, I think it's time to go ahead and equip that. The one thing to keep in mind regarding the scientist perk is the fact that it does say sometimes, so it is not 100%, but it does come in handy, especially if you want to make sure and get as many perks as possible. For right now though, we don't really have enough to get anything else, but the one thing that you need to remember for TMD equipment is the fact you actually do need to equip it. That it's pretty different from the other perks because they're obviously passive. But now that we've got our upgrade, I think it's time to go ahead and take care of these Spetsnaz. Thankfully they give us a sniper rifle to take easy care of these guys. We've dealt with these guys quite a bit already, so there's nothing really new here. The only thing you really have to pay attention for in this particular area is just the sheer amount of cover that the Spetsnaz can use against you.
Fix the crane! It's the only way across!
So I did want to try to show off Deadlock a bit more, and at least in the beginning I don't think I show it off as properly as I should. It has many good uses, such as actually slowing down enemy fire. You can use it as, I don't want to say a shield, but it can have some usage as that.
If you repair the crane, I can help you across!
Its main usage though is to pretty much freeze people. But for right now its radius is a bit small, so I might upgrade that later. But this is the crane we need to repair, so let's go ahead and repair it.
Well done! I will bring the crane over!
Yeah, that little cut there was me running into some technical difficulties, but thankfully everything's back on course now. And also since we have a much larger TMD energy bar, can use the aging quite a bit more than before. It looks like our ride is almost here, so let's go ahead and get over to that. And there are a lot more troopers than we initially might have thought. Let's go ahead and get trapped on this very tiny platform.
Nice build, Captain!
Now this particular part could either be very difficult or very easy. It just depends on if you've been able to remember where all the enemies happen to spawn. I think that there ends up being an infinite spawn down there on the ground, but that's kind of the least of your worries. Most of the worries kind of come from guys along these different platforms up here, and mostly due to the fact that you don't have a lot of space to hide. Thankfully they're nice enough to give you a sniper rifle. There is another weapon that we'll be seeing in just a second on this platform here, but it's really not optimal for this particular situation. yeah, this is where it gets to be kind of sketchy. There starts to become guys coming from all angles, and to call it any less than a clusterfuck would be a bit generous. But it really goes to show that having a good amount of health packs is really helpful. But now that we're done on here, let's go ahead and pick up this new weapon. Now, it is the spike shot. It's something akin to a medium-range railgun. It's very high damage, very slow firing. It actually requires a spin up before it will fire. These are all very important things to keep in mind. But once it actually hits someone, it connects with a, I think, pretty much a rod of E99, and it explodes shortly after coming into contact with pretty much any solid surface or entity. You may also notice that whenever you're zoomed in, it kind of gives off a thermal vision of sorts. That's not ever really that helpful. I think they just did that to make it look cool. The one thing you do have to remember, especially with the using this weapon in conjunction with the deadlock, is the fact that it will slow down the projectile and it will actually cause the projectile to explode before reaching the target. So you have to make sure that if you are firing at someone in the deadlock, that you de-age the deadlock so that the projectile will actually reach what you're firing at. But we have actually, this is a, I guess you would call this a mid-boss of sorts. But we'll be seeing more of him in just a little bit. You can actually hear him a bit. Yeah, he tends to teleport around a lot more than your normal Zex. Now this ethereal looking box over here is actually it's pretty much caught in between time and space, and you can pretty much pull items out of the ethereal to use, and they'll just keep on respawning boxes. But recording.
This is the audio log of Pyotr Nikolsky. It's been 2 days since Mikhail and his group left. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe we shouldn't have gone with them. Last night, the creatures attacked and killed half our group. They'll be back again tonight. I can hear them just outside, sniffing around, waiting for darkness.
Yeah, we'll be hearing more about those two different groups in just a little bit. But we have some very familiar puzzles to get through. Nothing too new.
It's taking a lot longer to make it to the rail than I thought it would.
Like I mentioned before, pretty much whenever you see these crushable boxes and fans, it's pretty much the same puzzle over and over again.
Because it makes no sense, Mikhail. You're putting these people at risk for no reason. And all you're doing is waiting for death. But it's too dangerous out there.
Listen to me. The sewers will take us to the train yard. From there we can take an engine to the docks and escape.
No, it's suicide.
Very well. I wish you the best, my friend. I hope to see you on the mainland, surrounded by your family, comrade.
Well, if we take a look around the room, we can see that it's doubtful the people that stayed behind were able to survive. Uh-oh. Yeah, he finally decided to come out and actually start attacking us even more. Yeah, this guy doesn't really have a specific name, but he's pretty much a Zex that just kind of teleports around more and has a bit more health. He's also a lot faster, so thankfully with our new deadlock, we can actually take easier shots at him. You can try to use these cryo tanks. The only problem becomes that, well, it only seems to connect when he's on the ground, and well, by that time he's already up in your face. So, and aging him doesn't work. So you have very limited means to actually take this guy down. But yeah, I decided that it was probably best to switch back to the Valkyrie for the rest of this fight. And we won't actually be seeing too many of those particular Zex throughout the game, but that's probably for the best because they are quite a handful to take care of. Yeah, let's go ahead and leave this card behind and continue on our way. Yeah, this note is just talking more about how the two groups split up, one staying behind and the other heading to the docks. And underneath this destroyable staircase is just a little bit more of E99 tech. Could be pretty easy to miss, but usually they don't leave behind destroyable stairs for no reason.
They've broken through. Killed everyone. Everyone. Forgive me, Mikhail. You were right. We should have gone with you to the docks. No. No!
So it doesn't look like either party made it too far in either direction, but it's not like the boats would have even been waiting for them either. But we already saw one Zex waiting for us. I can only assume this will be a masterful ambush. Masterful ambush indeed. But I definitely do think it's a good idea that we did get the Scientist perk, because there has been plenty of E99 to pick up around this general area, and I think we've gotten almost actually doubled our E99 tech from what we had at the beginning of the episode. Oh, didn't even hear you there, buddy.
I tried talking Pyotr into coming with us one last time, but to no end. He can be very stubborn once his mind is made up. My group left this morning with half of the food and ammunition. So far, we haven't had any problems. Maybe we'll get lucky and make it all the way to the docks safely.
Mikhail! Mikhail! Come quickly!
And there is another weapon locker nearby, but I want to show off the spike shot a bit more before we switch back to our normal weapons, I suppose. Let's have some more fun with the deadlock. Oh, that's so beautiful.
That we realized too late the creatures are blind. Alexei needlessly fell victim to them. But we just silently walked by the beasts, he would still be alive. I'm sorry for failing you, Alexei. For failing us all.
And it's time for a stealth section.
Keep moving. We shouldn't be far apart now.
These are, oh, we'll be saying them in just a second, but reverts, while they kind of look like mutants, are fairly different. They do a lot more damage, and, well, they're blind, if you couldn't tell by the numerous messages on the wall, audio logs, things like that. But yeah, we want to take this very slowly and very carefully, because there are a lot of them in here. And they will pretty much kill you in about 2 hits. Now they can be set off by running, they can be set off by firing, they can be set off by trying to pick up things with your TMD. So you have to be very careful. They have plenty of little E99 tech waiting around for you to pick up, but for the most part those are usually set up as a trap. So you just want to wait for the guys to get away before you start grabbing, and try to sneak by as best you can. Now this particular section might actually seem like a dead end, but by aging this plant, it managed to push that pipe out of the way. And by just aging it back, we're able to continue our way through the sewers. I'm just very paranoid about reverts. You can always hear their attention being gotten, and they're very fast, they're very dangerous, and you're not always sure where they're going to be. the amount of stim packs in here, it almost seemed like they assumed you were going to be taking a lot of damage in that previous area. Thankfully, we were able to navigate it pretty stealthily. We can make a quick little platform here to make our way across. Oh, still more reverts, gotta be quiet. Thankfully, there's this electrical panel here, allowing us an easy means to take them out. Now, the reverts have a pretty normal amount of health. The trouble becomes just the sheer amount of damage they can do, and the numbers they come in. Do you remember phase ticks? No. This was a nice little ambush point. And as we can see, there are a lot of those little E99 boils around, so you want to be very careful with your shots so you don't spawn in more phase ticks. But I think it's about time we were done with stealth. Yeah. Spike Shot actually has a very small AoE explosion. It's not massive or anything like that, but some enemies decide to group up together. It's pretty easy to take them out. Another very familiar box puzzle. We just got to drag this box over here, allow ourselves a little platform to get up. Looks like another ambush point, but actually there's a nice little corpse waiting for waiting to give us some weapon tech.
Find a way out of these damn sewers and get to the rail. There we should be able to find an engine and take it to the docks. Unfortunately, we have to move slowly. Many of us are injured. The creatures are very strong and cunning. I had a nightmare last night. One of Björta dying. I would like to believe it was nothing more than a dream. But in my heart, I know it is true.
Yeah, it's a bit late to tell us now that the reverts are amazingly strong. But we do want to make sure and carry this box with us because we're actually going to need it further down the line, and it's always a nice, easy way to take out these tripwires. For some reason, I think that time is on our side. And I also think that
I'm making my way to the rail. Let's meet up there.
I'm pretty tired of stealth. Now, another rather interesting feature of the reverts is that much like mutants, they do explode whenever they die, except As opposed to mutants, their death explosions are a little bit more powerful. They can actually be used as a weapon, which we'll be seeing, probably not in this video, but a later video. Thankfully, the rest of these hallways aren't really too filled up with reverts. It was only really that first one you really need to stealth around in.
Be careful. Demichev has patrols looking for us everywhere.
Yeah, Dimichev's Spetsnaz patrols are not really the main point of concern right now. Yeah, reverts make me very, very paranoid. Yeah, the accuracy on the spike shot can be a bit iffy. I suppose with the sharpshooter perk it might be a little bit better, but I think the overall damage and the little blast radius it has is good enough to make up the difference. But that's all we needed to get in there, just some more E99 tech, and we're back up to 9,000. That's actually pretty good. But we just need to make our way back to that door and that TMD upgrade, but that will be for next time on Singularity.